and happy week 6 of NFL action. This is the PHLY Bets Show. I'm your host, Jamie Lynch. This is all made possible and brought to you by our friends over at bet365. Find out why it's never ordinary at bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, lose a $5 wager. Boom, $200 in bonus bets richer. That can be used on spreads, futures, parlays, and so much more. Bet365 is truly, truly awesome. Hopefully you cashed in on some of those picks from PHLY Bets on Thursday, except the Seahawks pick. That was stupid. I didn't actually say those words. That one missed, but some of the college picks came through in a big way with Texas and some others. So hopefully we enter week 6 here, and we're going to make some money. All right, a couple of league trends, and then we're going to dive right into Eagles-Browns, which is the one we all care about most here. But one of these trends I've been following all year applies to the Eagles today. So this is one of note and one I kind of can't shake from my brain. NFL underdogs of 6 points or more are now 11-8 straight up, but 16-2-1 against the spread through the first 5 weeks, covering the average spread by about 7.8 points. That is 89% of the time a dog of 6 or more is making you money. Eagles line currently falls under that criteria. Makes me a little nervous, but then you think about how bad Deshaun Watson is, and you can kind of forget about that. It's the best against the spread 6-week in NFL history for such dogs of 6 points or more. So this is rare air for dogs of 6 or more. The best 5 weeks in NFL history. The dogs of 6+ were 11 and straight up. To compare that to last year, the first 5 weeks, those same dogs were 4 and 16 straight up. So dogs are performing well this year. There's a record number of home dogs. If the week closes out at kickoff with 10, it could be the most in a single week since 1972. Through 5 weeks, here's another one. Rookie quarterbacks. Drake May's getting his start today. Jayden Daniels is the talk of the NFL. Caleb Williams is playing in London right now. Through 5 weeks, rookie quarterbacks are 10-5 straight up and 12-3 against the spread. So rookie quarterbacks are covering the spread out there at a really high clip. Pretty impressive. And then a final league trend I'll toss out before Eagles-Browns talk. The average point spread, and it's probably why people are, it's tough out there this year. The average point spread through the first 5 weeks is sitting around 4 points per game, the lowest mark for any season dating back to 1960. So this is a tight league with tight spreads, and when that happens, it's a coin toss. All right, let's get right into it with the birds. Let's start with the birds, and then we'll get to the rest of the games. Currently, right now on Bet365, and of course this can change prior to kickoff still, the Eagles are an 8.5 point favorite. Over-under on this one is 42, and if you wanted to bet the Eagles on the money line, you'd have to risk $425 to win $1. No, thank you. All right, Sirianni and his team are coming off a bye, obviously. Under Nick Sirianni, the Eagles are 3-0 straight up, 2-0-1 against the spread in those 3 games following a bye. That includes 2 separate double-digit wins, and one of those in Kansas City. The Browns have gone under their team total in every game this year. This offense is terrible. Deshaun Watson is a bad person and a horrible quarterback. So they're just simply not an option for an over. They could score 3 points, but they're certainly not going to light up the scoreboard. Let's get more into the Eagles because we all know how terrible Deshaun Watson is. The Eagles have been hard to beat at home off of a bye historically. Now, this dates back to Andy Reid, and we all remember the folklore of Eagles out of the bye. You don't even have to worry about it. They're going to win. Well, for the Eagles, they're 17-3 straight up at home off a bye since 2000, with the only losses coming at the hands of Matt Ryan, Dak Prescott, and Tom Brady. So Eagles at home off of a bye, good mojo, good vibes there. Overall, teams playing off a bye with 13 or more days rest, facing a team who's playing on a normal weekly 7-day break, is winning 56.1% of their games dating back to 2003. When those teams play at home, that bumps up to 64%. So pretty good odds there that the Eagles are going to win the game. Whether or not they cover that is a totally different scenario. Jalen Hurts in his career at home against the spread, he's 17-10-1. He's the fourth best quarterback of the 102 that were eligible since 2020 in that regard. On the road or on a neutral site, he's just 12-19-1 against the spread, worst of 108 quarterbacks since 2020. So much better at home. If you wanted to bet the birds and bet Jalen Hurts, much better to do it at home. We mentioned Deshaun Watson being absolutely terrible. How terrible is he, you ask? Well, 62 quarterbacks have played 200-plus snaps since the start of 2022. Deshaun Watson is 55th in EPA per play, 54th in success rate, and 51st in completion percentage over expected. Pretty much one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. His EPA per play mark is surrounded by guys like Davis Mills. Deshaun Watson's last 300-yard passing game came with the Texans in 2021. So truly some bad stuff from the Eagles, from the Browns and Deshaun Watson there. A couple things I'll be looking at in this game. I think they want to get AJ Brown back in the mix in a big way. His over-under on receiving yards, I believe, is at 66.5. Saquon Barkley, you got to think they're going to use him. He's going to get his 20-plus touches. His over-under, I also like as well. Jalen Hurts' numbers at 235.5 for a passing over. I kind of like some overs today. I think this Eagles offense is getting Lane Johnson back. They're getting AJ Brown back, Devontae Smith. It's the full arsenal. And, when they had the full arsenal week one, albeit in Brazil, they put up a 34 spot on the Green Bay Packers. So I'm looking for kind of a high explosive offensive day out of the Birds. I don't know if I love them covering the 8.5 or 9. I'm more player prop driven in this one personally, but there's some trends and information for you on this game. I definitely think the Birds win it. That's a large number. Could they cover that? Absolutely. Deshaun Watson is terrible. All right. Some other games going on around the league. Let's get into them. Right now, the Jaguars and Bears are playing over in London. The next game on the docket, the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Green Bay Packers. Cardinals are 5.5-point road dogs. Over under on this one is 47.5. You can grab the Cardinals at plus 205 on the money line if you're a believer there. Kyler Murray hasn't won consecutive starts since October of 2021. That's absolutely crazy. The Arizona Cardinals quarterback has lost 10 straight games following a win, and this is the spot he finds himself in Green Bay. The Packers, well, they have a solid run going, solid betting run going right now. They're 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games at home. Combine those two things, it kind of makes you like the Packers. Factor in Lambeau Field being a tough road trip. Teams that go road trip to road trip and end up in Lambeau Field as the second road trip, they're 7-15-1 against the spread in the last 23 meetings. And in the first 3 weeks of the regular season, Matt LaFleur is 15-3 against the spread for the Packers. So a lot of things here lead you to liking the Packers. Give me the Packers minus the 5.5. I'll take my shot there. Kind of like an over a little bit in this one too. So maybe you sprinkle a little same game parlay there with some of your free bonus bets. A little Packers and over parlay. All right, next up, the Houston Texans traveling to the New England Patriots. The Texans currently are minus 6.5, minus 300 on the money line, and the over-under on this one comes in at 38. Now, the big story here is Drake May, the rookie quarterback from UNC, is making his NFL start for the Patriots. And you're probably wondering, how do rookies fare in their first start? Well, I have that information for you. Rookies in their first start are 43-94-1 straight up, 31.4% since 2000. When they're at home, they're 26-45-1 straight up, just 36.6%. So not well. You might want to consider fading the rookie here, especially against CJ Stroud. And the Texans offense is quite good. So you're going to figure that Drake May is going to have to probably hang, 20. Oh, definitely over 20. Can he get to the 24 to 28 range? That's probably what's going to be needed. CJ Stroud is a very good against the spread quarterback as a dog, not so much as a favorite. CJ Stroud has now made 22 starts in his NFL career. He's 10-12 against the spread, 6-3 against the spread as an underdog, and just 4-9 against the spread as a favorite. Since 2000, the Patriots have only closed as a 6-point or higher dog 7 times, and they are 5-1-1 against the spread there. Again, I know teasers are sucker bets, and that's how Vegas got built, but this one just kind of screams a teaser, doesn't it? You tease the Patriots down, get an over-under of like 31.5. How does that miss, right? But yeah, I lean Texans here in this one a little bit. Drake May is going to have a tough day. Usually first starts are, unless you're Jayden Daniels, who's just setting the world on fire. And we'll get to him. Next up, the Colts are plus 2.5, plus 125 on the money line at the Titans. Over under on that one is at 43. Let me just check that line to make sure. Yes, still at 2.5. All right. The Titans, they're 8-0-1 against their spread in their last 9 games following a bye. That's pretty incredible. They have a 12-point an average of 12.8 point differential in those games. Anthony Richardson, it appears, is going to give it a go. Was limited in practice this week. Apparently had a good workout yesterday, feeling pretty good. Probably better for the Colts if Joe Flacco was to quarterback the team right now. But Anthony Richardson is going to give it a go today. Jonathan Taylor, most likely to miss another one with an ankle injury. So big one there. Through their first 150 pass attempts in their first 2 years in the NFL, here's where Anthony Richardson finds himself on the lowest completion percentage list of the last decade. He's in there with Bryce Petty, the former Baylor quarterback, Deshaun Kaiser, Notre Dame guy, David Blow, Josh Rosen, Zach Wilson, and Anthony Richardson at 55%. That's not a good group to be associated with. Anthony Richardson is having his struggles. He still is able to make plays with his legs, and that offense can make up for some things, but Anthony Richardson returning today, not the best thing for the Colts. I actually like the Titans here at home, so I'll take the Titans at home in this one. All right, the Tampa Bay Bucs and Baker Mayfield. They're traveling to New Orleans. -3.5 are the Bucs. They're -180 on the money line. Over-under on this one comes in at 42. These teams, when they match up against each other, the under has happened in 5 straight meetings. And I don't know why, but in my head, Bucs Saints just feels like an over to me. So that was interesting to find out. 5 straight to the under in this one. They haven't combined for more than 36 points in those last 5 games. The Saints have scored fewer than 14 points in 2 of their last 3 games. David Carr expected to miss today. I think it's only the 3rd game in his career that he's going to miss, which is pretty wild. And you might wonder, how do the Saints fare with backup quarterback play? Well, this is their 26th game with a backup quarterback dating back to 2013, and they're very respectable, 13-12 straight up, 16-9 against the spread using a backup quarterback in that span. Against divisional opponents, Baker Mayfield, dreadful at home, better on the road. He is 4-10 against divisional opponents against the spread at home, but 9-9 on the road. So much better on the road here. Kind of like the Bucs a little bit to get back on track, but hard not to like another home dog today. Bunch of home dogs out there. All right, this is one of the better games of the weekend. The scorching hot Washington Commanders are +6.5, +245 on the money line, just traveling a stone's throw down 95 to, or up 95, to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Over under on this one is 51.5. These two teams combined to the over this year are 8-2 to the over. 51.5. I kind of like the over. I think Jayden Daniels and Lamar Jackson are going to put on shows today. So that's one that jumped out. In the last 3 weeks, the Washington Commanders are averaging 38 points per game. The Baltimore Ravens, 34.5. Washington's defense on the road has some serious issues dating back all the way to last year. 6 of their last 7 opponents have scored over 28 points. Now, back to rookie quarterbacks. Since 2015, rookie quarterbacks facing underdog lines of 6.5 or more have won just 17 games, going 17 and 110 straight up, 49, 75, and 3 against the spread. So only almost 40%. The Commanders' offense has been on absolutely a tear, though. So you wonder, is Jayden Daniels, one to buck a trend like this? Well, 63% of the Commanders' drives are ending in an offensive score, which is best in the NFL. They have 42.5 net yards per drive, which is also best in the NFL. And 57% of their third and fourth down plays are getting converted, also the best in the NFL. Now, part of me likes Jayden Daniels with that many points, but part of me says this could be his first, struggle, welcome to the NFL, you're still human kid moments. No real strong lean here, but I do think a Jayden Daniels bet is kind of fun on this one, so I might take the dog there. All right, 4 o'clock games. Chargers, -3, -155 on the money line. Travel to Denver and take on the Broncos. Over-under on this one, it's 35.5. I'm just going to get out in front of this one. I like the Broncos in this spot. Another home dog. Justin Herbert's just been terrible, too. Chargers offense, Jim Harbaugh. We'll see what happens. The Chargers, they've gone under in each of their games this season. They're doing so by an average of 9.3 points. The under is 16-3 in Los Angeles' last 19 games. That's almost an 85% rate. If you can only hop on that wave and ride that one in the beginning, man, you could make a lot of money. 85% of the time they're going under in their last 19 games. That is incredible. The under is 5-2. The under is 5-2 over these teams' last 7 meetings. And Sean Payton, well, he's very good coach as a dog. Now, most of this time is from New Orleans, but maybe it still applies. Sean Payton is 56-36-2 against the spread as an underdog in his career. That's a 61% hit rate as a dog. With a minimum 30 games as a dog, he's the 4th best coach as a dog against the spread in terms of win percentage since 1990. So Sean Payton likes it. I know it's gross to bet on Bo Nix and the Broncos, but give me the Broncos as a home dog here. All right, the Steelers, -3. Got to lay -165 on the money line. Traveling to the Raiders. Over-under on this one is low at 36.5. Justin Fields, he's just thrown 1 pick in his last 7 games. He's not lighting the world on fire, but he's protecting the football and giving his team and defense an opportunity to win games. Mike Tomlin never really done well as a road favorite in his career. He's 33-41-2 against the spread as a road favorite. The Steelers, they thrive in these tight, low-scoring types of games. Since 2020, they're 33-13 straight up in 1-score games, the best mark in the NFL. They're 31-15 against the spread in those games. Give me the Steelers. I think they'll find another way to do it. TJ Watt will probably have a strip sack and score to win it because that's just what he does. He might be the best football player on the planet. So give me the Steelers -3. If you can buy that down to 2.5, that would tempt me some. All right, Falcons -6 or -260 on the money line. They're traveling to the Carolina Panthers. Over-under on this one is 47. The Panthers suck. It's hard to back them in any way, shape, or form. The Panthers, over their last 22 games, are 6-15-1 against the spread. In their career, Kirk Cousins is 13-18 straight up, 11-20 against the spread, on extended rest. So Kirk, not really good with extended rest, which is weird. And Kirk Cousins also doesn't enjoy evening games. Here's his numbers after his win on Thursday Night Football last week. If it's 1 o'clock or earlier, he's 59, 33, and 2 straight up in his career, 64%. After 1 o'clock, he's 21 and 39 straight up, 35%. That's pretty staunch. That being said, he can't back the Panthers. I guess I'll take the Falcons in that one. Gun to my head. All right, Lions. This is a pretty good game as well. The Lions -3. -170 on the money line are traveling down to Jerry's World in Dallas. Over-under on this one is 52.5. The Cowboys are 8-2 against their spread in their last 10 home underdog games. That jumps out at me. They've made a habit of playing up to competition at home, while they're also 4-0 against the spread in the game before their bye under head coach Mike McCarthy. Let's see if he can make it 5-0. The Lions have gone 15-5 under the total in post-bye week games since 2004. This is one of the games that could go, into that 50 range there with the over-under at 52.5. Totals of 50 or more are 4-0 to the under this season, going under by an average 13.6 points per game. So you see that big number and you think over, well, it's playing to a rapid rate on the under. Over the last 2 seasons, that total of 50 or more are 16-4 to the under. And last 3 years, they're 34-14 to the under. That's nearly 71% of games over 50 points are going under. So give me the under in this one. I kind of like the Lions here. I don't think the Cowboys are that sweet. All right, Bengals, they're -3.5 on the road, -190 on the money line, traveling to New York to take on Danny Dimes and the Giants. Over-under on this one is 47. The Bengals have gone over the 50-point mark in 4 straight games, meaning game total. They've gone over in 7 of their last 8 games on the road, and in 9 of their last 11 games overall. The New York Giants have played 9 straight unders on Sunday Night Football, scoring just 11 points per game. Danny Dimes is not lighting up the scoreboard on Sunday Night Football. In Joe Burrow's career, he's 23-11 against the spread on the road or at a neutral site. When he's closed as a field goal or more favored on the road, he's 8-3 against the spread. Let's not be silly here. Give me the Bengals -3.5. Not touching an over-under on this one. All right, Monday Night Football. And new interim coach for the New York Jets, as Robert Saleh was let go this past week. They're hosting the Bills. Bills are 2.5-point road favorites. Again, these home dogs are all over the place this weekend. Well, the Bills have gone under their total in 15 of their last 19 road games. Betting unders is so gross, but it's a smart play a lot. The Jets have failed to reach 20 points in 3 of their last 5 games. Now you're wondering about how the interim coach does. Well, here you go. Jets, the 38 teams have fired their coach during the regular season since 2003. Those teams have gone 17-21 straight up and 22-16 against the spread. Let's not overthink this one either. Let's just give me the Bills -2.5. So there's some information for you on today's gambling slate. Hopefully you find it helpful and useful. Now, I every week put together a little sweet same game parlay and 2 little picks, and our producers make a gorgeous graphic. There it is. The PHLY Bets Bet365. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Give me an Eagles same game parlay. Just a little baby step back to prominence. A little +220. This should be obtainable. We're not going to get rich, but we're gonna fatten that bank account up a little bit. Eagles money line. That's got to be safe, right? Jalen Hurts over 230.5 passing yards. And I think the man on the other end of a lot of those, it's going to be good to have AJ Brown back. Give me his over 66.5. That pays out $220, meaning if you bet $100 on that, you can win $220. The other one, give me the Cardinals Packers over 47.5. I like that one a good amount. And then bet number 2, I'm going with Sean Payton as the home dog. Really good in his career. Chargers not that sweet. I know they're coming off a bye, but Justin Herbert leaves a lot to be desired. So there you have it. Bet365 has got tons of player props for you. First touchdown score, first quarter scores. You can get real creative. Have a great time on there. Look at the player milestones and make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled for our custom PHLY bets right there on the homepage. Bet365 is boosting up some of these same game Eagles parlays that I get to concoct in our offices. So make sure you're checking those out. Hopefully we make some money. Appreciate everybody that hopped in and hung out with us today. Hopefully you find this information useful and we can apply it to Bet365 and take all their money. All right, that's the goal. All right, have a great slate of gambling out there today, everyone, and hopefully you make some money. See you next time.